In this video, we'll be calculating the new money supply. We've already covered in the notes where we talk about the money multiplier. So when the government buys bonds, let's say in this instance here we have $80 of government bonds that are here. Does that just mean only $80 is going into the economy, or it doesn't multiply? And obviously the answer to that one would be yes, that we'd see an increase because that $80 would actually multiply. Now, how much is it going to multiply is the question we need to answer. So in order to find this answer to the change in money supply and the money multiplier, we need to calculate this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go equals, and we're going to follow our formula down here. We're going to click on 1. We're going to divide it by the reserve requirement, which in this case is 10%. Enter. And as a result, the money multiplier for this example is going to be 10. So is it going to increase or decrease? So what is the Fed doing? The Fed is buying bonds, so that means more money is going to go into the money supply, so it's going to increase. So then how much will it increase? Well, all we do is we're going to go equals, we're going to take our bond amount times our money multiplier, and then this amount would demonstrate how much $80 in bonds at a 10% reserve requirement would actually increase. So when you're doing each one of these, you have to ask yourself, is it going to increase or decrease? And that just really depends on what the Fed is doing. So in this instant, the Fed is buying bonds, so we're going to see an increase. But what if the Fed is selling bonds? Well, the same steps is going to take place. We're going to go equals, we're going to go 1 divided by 20, because again, this is our formula here. Enter. We now have 5 is our money multiplier. Now, is it going to increase or decrease? Well, again, we look at the Fed. Are they buying or are they selling? If they're selling, that means that there's too much money in the money supplier, so we want it to decrease. So then how much is it going to decrease? We're going to go bond amount times money multiplier, and it would decrease by $500. You can go ahead and try out these next two. With this last one, though, it's a little different than the Fed. Now, the beginning process is the same. So we're going to go 1 divided by 10, so we have 10. Now, is it going to increase or decrease? Well, that's a good question. Since you're depositing your cash, your money, it's actually going to increase because it's no longer in your pocket. It's in a saved location, a bank, where a financial institution will be safe. So it's going to increase. But how much is going to change in money supply? Well, if we did our formula from everything else, we would take 100 times 10, and we'd get 1,000. But the problem is, you did not create new money. You already used money that was already out in circulation. So your answer is actually going to be, we're going to take this amount here times 10, and then we would subtract 100 from it. And as a result, your answer would actually be an increase of $900 instead of 1,000. Again, the reasoning behind that is that you did not create the money. The Fed creates the money. You were just using the current money that was in circulation, and as a result, from your $100, you were able to increase it by $900 into the money supply.